Hey everybody, and welcome back. Right, well, I have to say that probably for the next couple of weeks this is going to be more workshop vlog because I don't actually have a project yet. Still haven't heard about my mystery acquisitions, plural. So until I get them sorted out, I have a second project in mind, but nothing fixed as yet. So what we're going to do is I have a few things I want to get done, so you'll just have to bear with me, and I'll show you them, and if they interest you, that's fine. If not, well, that's that. Alright, so what's the state of play at the moment? Well, you may notice I'm facing around the other way. You can see our B54 there, because it actually has the tank on now. And I just took it out for a little ride, and you'll excuse the language, but the carburation is crap. I cannot get it to idle. I knew the pilot jet was miles out. I can get it to start alright, but it won't idle. And on the little climb out the back here, it's strange. And also, just as you ride along slowly, George sort of said to me, "Oh, that's a lot noisier than usual from across the road." And I said, "Yeah, it's not running." And then I'd stopped to try and fiddle on with the tick over, the idle, and it stopped, and then it wouldn't start. I pulled the plug out, and it was just black. Came up, cleaned the plug, put it in, started straight away again. So I've got to, as I say, these are some of the few little jobs. I've got to pop the bottom off the float chamber, get the main jet and the pilot jet out. I might have that type of Mikuni main jet, but I know I don't have any of those pilot jets. So we'll have to sort some pilot jets out and just play around with that. Unfortunately, it's not got a nice big plug in the bottom that you can get at the main and pilot jets like, say, the OKO ones have, or actually even some of the Mikunis have. So it's going to be a fiddle on each time. So we're going to do that. I was right. I went out and searched, and I found the matching clutch lever to go with. It's on the other bike. To go with the new master cylinder we put on the B50. Speaking of the B50, literally just had its Monday morning delivery this morning. Here's the hub, which I've got 3 discs now that I don't want. So I've got the right hub, 36 spokes. So, and actually we've got some nice witness marks to show which way the spokes go. So I'll make a note of that. So that came, fork seals, the dust boot things, disc pads, and for reason why, oh god, that is so much lighter. That weighs a ton. I mean, it's one of those sort of things where it's really weighing my hand down. This is a lot lighter, and as you can see, it's very snazzy, so it'll go well with the look of the bike. So I'm still waiting for the rebuild kit for the caliper, because you remember I forgot about that. So we'll press on with that. I can build the forks, I can put the forks in, we can fiddle on about the mudguard and stuff. I'll probably be able to put the front wheel in that I've got, the wrong front wheel, just with a wheel spindle, so I know how, because it's going to be the same tyre, how the mudguard goes on. I might be able to make up the mudguards, mountings and everything. Well, what am I talking about? The hub's here. I'll get on this afternoon and paint the hub. Oh, it's 3:15. I've had a lot to do today. And yeah, I could get the hub painted white to match the back one, same as the other hub. So tomorrow, let's think. Set that paint in, do the forks and put them in. Tomorrow, if I set aside a whole day to lace up through the wheel, take the tyre and tube off the other wheel and get them put on this one. As I say, it's going to be a couple of weeks of vlog because I don't know what I'll get done each time. But obviously I won't get anything done if I sit around talking. Don't think I have anything else to tell you. So let's just get on and do some stuff. Right, so I obviously don't want to have to repaint a mudguard. So what I've done is I've made up 2 hoops. Which that one goes up there. These are numbered and what have you. So they will go in there and get bolted in. Now I haven't finished off these ends. I hadn't made up my mind. I think I'm going to make them bolt up, but I'm not sure exactly where I want them to be. So these will bolt onto there with nice acorn nuts at the top, same as they were, only I've opened them out from 1/4 to 5/16 to make it more rigid. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to glue a thin piece of rubber on there so that it actually sort of screws in even tighter. Okay, then I also made 2 of these, so I'll show you these. Right then, so these other 2 plates go on there, like that. Look, the holes are in the right place. Getting good at that. Then as you can see, these holes aren't halfway on that. This is giving me more space up here to fasten the actual mudguard stay, which will get welded to there, and then will go off to the back of the mudguard and the front of the mudguard. You can also see here, yep, the disc isn't as dished as the original Yamaha one was, so it comes with 2 spaces to move that inwards a bit because it isn't dished as far out. So I'll put the other one of those on there, and then as I said, this will come up to the mudguard. Right, so next thing is for me to build up this other wheel. I know the white's showing up very bright in the camera. So hub done, new rim, spokes, nipples, lubricant, and as I mentioned before, anyway, I hope you can hear me alright. Before I started using Buchanan's, oh hang on, I'm going to turn you off. Right, let me bring you in a little bit here because I want to show you something. As I was mentioning, before I started getting my spokes of Buchanan, I would often get them and, well, always, they were 90 degrees. Every spoke in the pack was 90 degrees, so I'd have to start bending them. Because, as you can see with this one, this is bent at less than 90 degrees. So this one is, where are we? This one is an outer, because that has got to go in there. It's got to, if you like, curl around to point to the centre of the rim. Whereas this one, see, is more than 90 degrees, because this one's an inner and it's got to come away from the hub towards the centre line. So I'll set to put the lubricant in the nipples, and I won't show you me lacing it and that, because if you go back to the first BSA 250 trials bike, I spent 2 complete videos, oh, we've got a lorry coming, talking about nothing but rims, dimples, the way they're drilled, and different types of hubs, spool type hubs like this, conical hubs, all sorts of things. The only thing I'll mention to remind you is, if you're doing it, when you lace it up, do the inner spokes first, right? because you can put these in like that when there are no spokes in the way, but as you can see there, once there's spokes in the way, you can't do anything with them because there'd be spokes there. So you put them in first, and then the outer spokes, you see, they go in, and on the outside there's nothing to stop you putting them where you want them. Alright, so let me lace this up, and then got the other wheel warming so I can get the tyre off it easily. Then when this is all done and trued, we'll swap tyres and tubes over. Alright, so the wheel spindle wouldn't fit in my truing stand, so I had to do it like that in the vise. But anyway, there it is, trued up. It's within a couple of thou, so up and down and side to side, so that's quite sufficient for me. Tyre came off the other wheel quite easily, so let me see if I can get it onto this one. Alright, well, that was a little bit of a tussle. If the tyre had been slightly warmer, it would have been easier. As I say, it came off the other one easily, but I don't think I had it warmed up enough for that. Alright, let's just raise the bike a little bit, I think. I'm just going to put it in. I realise when I masked this off now that this little piece here needed to be white. So I'm going to have to, let's say I just aerosoled this. So we're going to put it in. Good, I was wondering whether it would go in past the pasty. Pasty would be nice. Let's see, we want it to be a bit higher. Where's my apprentice when I need him? And that's right, I haven't got one, have I? How's that? That should do. Now then, when you put this in, it's got the little doodad here, little channel that goes onto there, so generally when I put them in, I don't realise until it's in, and then you've got to take it back out. And you've got to catch the little tangs in the drive. Come on. What's the matter with it? There. There's that there. Actually, I've been thinking all the time that the disc was on the left, but it isn't. The caliper I've got is a right-hand caliper, so lift it up a little, just a fraction more. Whew. Good way to finish the day, eh? There. Oh. And there she is. Excuse me. I don't need to put this nut on, but you know what will happen if I don't put it on and I just put it down to one side? Do you know what? Hang on, let me move you back even further. Actually, I've thought of this. Just as I put the forks in and I was walking around, the bike looks better with those forks in. Just didn't quite look right, did it? With those upside down ones in. Anyway, I have the, hang on a second, I'm getting something and I hope the battery doesn't pack up. The one nice thing that came off that other hub they have a plate when there's only one disc on, because the hub is completely symmetrical. You can put the disc on either side, or of course you can get them with two discs. When you only have one disc, there's this plate that goes on. But that other wheel I got had this nice black plastic thing, which goes better, I think, with the black and white and red. Whew. Anyway, that's enough for today. So tomorrow, today's Wednesday. Oh, my MasterCard thing didn't come, the tubes. Damn. Said delivery tomorrow. Anyway, tomorrow we'll make up the mudguard brackets. Should be able to make them in the morning. Oh no, not if the stuff hasn't come. Anyway, we'll get them done tomorrow. We'll get them painted tomorrow. Saturday I can put them on and we're done. So until tomorrow, well, I'll see you then. Alright, a new day dawns, and with it comes a new problem. This is quite a narrow mudguard, which didn't matter when the stairs went on the outside of it, but now with an 1/8 inch on either side, we've narrowed it by 1/4 inch and it's catching the tyre. I've bent it out a little bit. It doesn't catch the tyre now, but there definitely isn't enough room to put a bolt, have a nut on the other side of that. So I've got to lift it up a bit. See, it can move, but the stairs are going to have to be welded on. Alright, that's not a big problem. Not overly worried about that. I just had to spend nearly half an hour finagling things to fit. So let me put some foam under this mudguard, some blocks of foam to lift it up, put it where we want it, and then, hang on, we can, I don't know what happened with my MasterCard, it didn't arrive yesterday, it should have, but anyway, I've got a couple of pieces of this left. That one's long enough. Have I got another piece? Have I got another piece? That's too short. That's too short. That's too short. No, I don't. So we're going to have to wait for the new stuff to... What's that? Whoa. Is that just long enough? No. By the time I bend that, that's like 1 inch short. But alright, so I can do one side. Anyway, let me get this taped up to where it wants to be. No, this isn't working. Damn it! I don't want to have to rework the mudguard, bead blast it, prime it, paint it. God, another little job. I thought, oh, just, you know, a bit of machining for the headstock and... Let me think about this some more. Alright, so... Those of you who have mentioned in the past that it's always the little jobs at the end that take all the time. It's now 3:15. I did a lot of sitting and looking and thinking and trying stuff. I'm probably going to repeat what I said this morning because I've forgotten. I decided I can't do that strap inside there. It's too much work. I've got to come over the outside because of the size of the mudguard. So, you may remember, the reason I didn't want to do that was because when I used the bender, the 1/2 inch die I've got actually does this the wrong way because it doesn't take the right radiuses and everything into account. Anyway, what do I know? It's maths. I can't do maths. So what I did do was I measured the width of this, and I measured the depth of it, and I used a little lunchtime, I used a little calculator online and found out what this circle actually was. I'm going to keep nodding in front of you here. So then, knowing what the circle was from this chord and arc, good I do this, which fits on there properly. I should have brought you around the other side, shouldn't I? But anyway, it fits on there nicely. So from that, the little bit that I cut out of the middle, right, straighten the sides off, and then I thought, seeing as I've got those things I made for the inside, let's modify them slightly. So I have made this, which is exactly that curve. Excuse me again. I tried one earlier, actually I haven't brought it over, as a little experiment, but what happens is that goes in there to wherever it needs to be. Heat this up, bend it round and bend it round and bend it round, and I tried one. Hang on a minute. This was just a piece of tube I'd laid around which had been bent and straightened and rebent. Alright, it actually fits on. So I can make up a couple. Now of course the thing is, I don't think now that there's enough space to get it in between the forks. So I might have to remake those two plates that bolt onto the forks. So I've still got a lot of thinking to do and a lot of fiddling and trial and error, so I'll bring you back eventually. So rather than waste another perfectly good piece of tubing, let's try and get this one that I just showed you, which you can see doesn't exactly fit. And I'll show you the plan. Alright. Settling on, oxygen on. This was, I say it's Thursday, I'm going to pop out this morning, make up a couple of mudguard stays and get them painted this afternoon. First of all, we'll have to unbend this a little bit. Have to put a little clamp on there and make this hole tighter because it hasn't okay. this side still, because that was a nasty bend done in the vise. This side's curved quite nicely. So let me cool this down and we'll check it on the mudguard. So I've made another little mod to it. That'll go in as far as they need to go in. That'll tighten it and that'll hold that, you see. Okay. Now before you make comments and say that I could have turned this on the lathe with a, you know, to make it look like a die. I don't want to have a piece of steel that big, 4.5 inch diameter or whatever. Plus, I don't think I'd do it anyway. But what I may do is put some sides on to make this run exactly right in there. But for now, I want to get this job done. Alright, so it's going to work. So I think it's time to try a proper one. Alright, so here we go again. Keep your fingers crossed this time because I'm using a real piece of metal. Nice new shiny piece. Okay. Heat this up a bit at a time, do you think? That didn't go too well, did it? Still, you learn by your mistakes, or in your case, you learn by my mistakes. So why didn't that? Why didn't that bend round that way? The other half bent perfectly. That is spot on. What's wrong with that? Damn, that bit's beautiful. Why did that bend like that? Did I need to have this fixed point lower down? Also, I'm catching on the blooming earthing clamp here. I should have that round a bit like that. See, look, that's come. I got that too hot. Look at the scale on it. There's no scale here at all. And I say that is following that curve absolutely perfectly. Something wrong there. Trying to bend it, the radius, too quickly, I think. Maybe cut a piece of that off. Well, that shouldn't make any difference at all. Yeah, maybe it needed to be heated a little bit further down to start the curve sooner. Maybe that needs to be able to move a little bit. Who knows? Let me play around with it and I'll bring you back. Well, I'm having another bad day. Did this and it was too big. Came out 4.5 inches. I just don't understand it. So I thought, okay, it's springing back. Let's make it smaller. So I cut a piece out the centre. So now this is 4 1/8. Right, it wants to be 4 1/4 on the inside. So did it? It's still not right. It's either too big and then I adjust it and it's too small. I don't know what's going on. Well, that's par for the course for me, isn't it? I have no, and I can't get this to curve right, as I say, whether I should cut a piece of that off so that it starts to bend sooner or what, I don't know. That's maybe trying to bend it too close to where I actually want that bend to be. But it's really, I mean, that's 1 3-foot length ruined because I can't get 2 out of it. Even, see, that end's nasty and it's still wrong. And if I cut it here, I haven't got enough to do one of these. So I'll just pop out and make a couple of mudguard stairs. Did not work out. I hate doing these round things. They just do not come out. Doesn't matter whether I do them on the tube bender. I thought I cracked it there. I really did. I mean, it was perfect on here, and then as it cools, it opens out slightly. So I guess I need, when I bent it, to have a clamp here, something I can stick round it quickly, clamp it up and hold it there while it cools down. Then maybe it'll work. We'll see. Alright, I'll see you on Saturday, and God knows how much we'll get done this week. Hey up, I'm back. I couldn't knock off, it was annoying the hell out of me. So, cut a piece off there, heated it. I only heated this very bit and started it bending, and then I moved round, just heating about 1/2 inch at a time. Seems to be a perfect curve, and I've got a clamp on here, slightly over clamping it. So we'll let it cool down, and if this one doesn't fit, then I'll probably go out on Route 79 and throw myself under one of those lorries you keep hearing. Alright, let me switch you off and then I'll bring you back when it's cooled down. Well, it's cooled down completely now. Actually, while I was looking at it, I thought what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a couple of pieces sticking out either side here with a hole in, so that when I bend it round to all the way, I can slip a pin in and it will hold this curve. Because that's pulled the legs in a little bit too much. Gosh, isn't this exciting? Will it work? Won't it work? See, I've pulled it in a bit much there. Oh. 4 1/4, which is what it should be. This course has come in much too far, but let me put that in the vise to hold that so I don't open this out, pull these back a fraction. Oh, and that other idea I've just had will stop that happening. Okay, so I'll put a block of wood in here which is 4 1/4 inches, so that when I start to pull these I can have this clamped up. So let me just bump that up a little bit. Like that. So that is now holding that. So when I pull these, it's not going to sort of open that out. It's only going to move these. Or that is the plan. So let's see. Come on. Why do vices never grip for me? Four and 1/8. That one looks about right. I think it's this one. Oh, I felt that move slightly. 4 1/4. 4 1/4. See, still didn't get that perfect. Let me try it on the bike. Alright, how is the day gonna finish? So it's partly having the form to bend it on, and it's partly having a way to hold it as it cools. I was able, because these are shorter, I was able to get this out of that piece that I messed up. So, the next thing I've got to do is down the bottom here, I'm going to put some turns in like that. Or think of a different way to mount it at the bottom. That, see, it's not exactly, it's still, now it's a little bit, see, it's a little bit too small. Oh. I cannot get this curve. As I say, I measured the height of the mudguard, and I measured the width, because that's a cord, and that's a whatever, plugged it into this thing, and made that to suit. Plugged into this calculator on the internet. I mean, it's close, but it's just not quite right. Okay, it's certainly enough for the day. See you on Saturday. Alright then, it's Saturday, but it's actually in the afternoon because I've had a bit of an annoying day. Anyway, I'll tell you what happened, show you some stuff, and then that's going to be it for this week. So, I put my thing on this end, see with the holes in, so now I can put the tube in, bend it round, and when I get it to around here, pop a 5/16 bolt in there, and that will stop it from springing out as it cools. So I got that done. Then I did something else which I've put down. So then, of course, you may remember I've made this hoop here last thing on Thursday, I guess it was, and got that right using our little former there. So then I needed to bend it here. So I've actually done that using the same former. What I did was I put it in there, heated it up and bent it that way. at right angles to the normal way. And bends aren't perfect, but they're pretty close. So that is going to go on there and weld like that. Now I think in order to be able to do this, I better weld it in situ. And because I never like doing any kind of electric welding on a machine that's got electronics on it, what I'm going to have to do is take the tank off and disconnect everything. Not a big job, it's just that it's easier if I do it that way. So that will go on like that, and then the other one will go out the back, but you can't see. So let me open it up. So why was it annoying? Well, while that was cooling down, I thought, I know what I'll do. To show everybody, I will pop the disc on. Where are we going? This way. So I put the disc on. Looks smart, doesn't it? Well, actually it's a floating disc as well. These things are, you know, it's just not actually fastened to the inner. So it's allowed to move a little bit in that direction. Well, a little bit actually this direction, so it straightens up. Oh, and by the way, those spaces are right. That's perfectly in the centre of that gap. So anyway, I thought, pop them on. These bolts are shouldered a little bit for that, and then they have a little section, tiny little section that isn't threaded, and then they're threaded. So of course this is thinner than the standard one. So of course A, they wouldn't tighten all the way down, and B, the shoulder was a little bit too long. So what I've had to do with all 6 bolts is put them in the lathe, turn the shoulder back a fraction, take them out the lathe, put them in the vise, do the thread down a little bit further, turn them over and shorten them by just over 1/8 of an inch. Now they tighten up all the way properly. Okay, so I've decided, I was thinking when I was going to put brackets under here and all that, I was going to do it in white. Because they're crossing over here, I'll do them in red, because you may remember they look really nice in red. So I've still got to make that one, which hopefully won't be too difficult, because I've got my little fixture to make the bend with, and it's almost straight from there to here. So this part will be easy. Actually, I got very clever with this. I thought, come on Michael, do it right. So I got my, hang on, I'm going to walk over here and get it and show you it. I thought, I'm spending money on this stuff, I might as well use it. So I got my digital protractor thing here and did that like that, got the angle it wanted to be, cut out a piece of cardboard, and then as I was bending this, you see, I just kept checking it and it worked out very nicely. Could have done the 2 bends slightly better. As I say, I did them in that thing, and then afterwards it struck me that this width, the jaws of the vise, are wider than that. I could have just put that into the vise so that it was clamping both ends, got them both heated up, and then got a grip of this, bent them both at the same time to keep them exactly right. But they came out more or less spot on. So, and I mean this bike, I'm going to emote for a moment. You know, it's just been standing in the corner, hasn't been touched since we finished it. So as you know, it's got electronic ignition and generation. So to check my wiring, I have to start the engine. The first thing is tickle the carb, and it just keeps flooding. Well, so I thought, oh, well, all right, good. Now I've got to take the float ball off. Look at that. Then go to kick it, and the kickstart spring's not working right. it's not coming back up again. So I'll have to take that off and have a look at it. So anyway, it started, everything works except the horn. And you remember I said I had a red wire? Well, I think I know now where that should go. Looking at the little, you may remember I did a hand-drawn sort of wiring diagram and made a list of every, because some of the colours didn't quite match up. So what I think it is this switch. Most horn switches, power goes to the horn, comes out of the horn and goes up to a simple earthing switch. Certainly, you know, like the button type ones on British bikes like that. This one, it doesn't. The power goes up to that multifunction switch, and then the power comes from there to the horn. And because the wire coming out of that switch is black to go to the horn for some unknown reason, I've earthed it. I thought it was an earth from there. I'm pretty sure behind here is where I'll find that I made that an earth. So I don't have any power going to the horn, so the horn button doesn't work. Alright, so they're all minor things. The only thing to do, as I say, is that back mudguard hoop, and then the little bit that goes on here is going to be tricky, because normally I do that again in situ and then paint the mudguard, but it's painted so I can't go welding up here or I'll wrinkle the paint. So I'll have to think of some clever way when it's all on, when it's welded here, that I can make the little tab and mark the tab, or tack it so that the tab will, I can move the tab to get it right. So anyway, our 5-minute job has now taken 3 weeks, and it's going to take a little bit longer, and I still don't know what I'm going to do for the next project. So I tell you what, let's have some suggestions. I had one suggestion about building a trials bike. I honestly don't want to do any more road bikes. I just, apart from registering them, and as I say, I don't like selling them because people tend to come back. It's going to be a competition bike, which probably means it's going to be a trials bike. And I mean, now I have a pair of upside down forks, 21-inch front wheel, and I have a Tiger Cub rear hub, which you may remember was very kindly given to me by a viewer. So I was thinking about another trials bike, and somebody said, "Hey, why don't you make one with one of the Honda CB 175 twins?" And I thought, and I looked at some photographs, and they're a very compact little unit, and there seem to be quite a few about. And because I'm never sure whether the thing will work, I don't like to sort of buy a really nice engine like I did with the 3-cylinder Yamaha. I sort of bought a scrappy engine, so if it didn't work, nothing much was lost. So there was one there for a couple of $100. It said bad compression and a gearbox transmission problem. So I carried on in eBay, and there was 2 or 3 sets of transmissions for like $50 each. So I was thinking about that. I thought that would be interesting. But when I checked, it weighs £90. The engine weighs £90. This 500 only weighs 84. So anyway, if you can think of something, I'm not saying I'll do it. Apart from anything else, you know, don't forget, for you guys in the UK, here in the US, like trying to find a Tiger Cub, some things are either difficult to find, or as it turned out with the Cub, when I found somebody in California who had one, he just wanted silly money for it. I mean, maybe he could get that money in California, but I wasn't prepared to pay that just for an engine. So anyway, think of some things and suggest them, and we might find something that's worth doing. I'm looking at the camera, I don't know if you can see me, if not. Anyway, so that's it for this week. We're going out for dinner tonight, so I'll have to go and get cleaned up. And until I see you next week, you stay safe and enjoy yourselves.